Lisa Novak. Good morning, Lisa Novak.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Going live. Going live.
Yeah, we are.
Hey,
Let's get into
what are
it.
we talking? Collab. Collab, decentralization, power to the suburbs. COVID is making us do things in our business that we've never had to do before.
Yeah, not just in our business, right? It's happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere. Um, I want to give you an example. Mark, how long you been in real estate for?
27 years.
Okay. When have you ever had an agent contact you and say, let's collaborate? You do something really well and I do something really well. Let's collaborate for the benefit of the customer.
Agents just like to work on their own, and people just like to work on their own. It's the competition, the other guys. You don't want to work together with the other guys. They are the enemy. They are the competition.
Yeah. And that's, look, I think that's in any sales related industry. But this morning we also bumped into and I'll come back to that in one sec. But this morning we bumped into a friend of ours, right? And he runs some really, really big function centers. And those guys are in a world of pain at the moment,
In the
aren't
eastern
they?
suburbs. Yep. He's in the eastern
Yeah.
suburbs,
So,
he brought it up as well.
yeah. And he was saying, hey, I met a friend of yours the other day. These guys have got Miramar Gardens. And he said, we're going to be doing some stuff together. And I was like, what? I said, are you guys not in competition with each other? He said, usually we are before COVID, yes. Now, in the midst of COVID and post-COVID, no, it's a whole new world out there. So we've decided that together we're better than what we are separate. I'm not sure what it is that they're going to be collaborating and doing, but
Yeah,
we're seeing it more
I
and
think
more
we've
and
got to be
more. Like,
careful what we're saying here. But
yeah,
I think that there's no joining of businesses. There's no,
no, no, no, no, no,
but
no, no. It's nothing like that. No.
it's more like that willingness under this pressure of COVID. People are more willing to have a chat, have a talk, and see what they can do for their customers
Yeah,
better than what they did before. Before it was like, you know what? Before, what do I need to talk with anyone with? What do I need to talk with any other competitor for? I'm my own man, woman, whatever. Who gives a shit? But now people these guys are saying there's hospitality as an example, there's real estate as an example, there's lots of examples where people are actually saying, you know what, for the betterment of the customer, let's talk and how can we collaborate and what can we do together? And another thing
yeah.
that was brought up in the conversation was decentralization or urbanization, power to the suburbs, where he had a lot of great venues in the city and a lot of great venues in the burbs, but the burbs are doing heaps better. So he was actually saying, look, maybe I might even go get a few more venues in the burbs because that's what's busy.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, no, and I also just want to reiterate on what I just said as well. By no means do I mean, these venues are going to be collaborating. I think more so putting their minds together to work out what, as an association to work together, and find better ways for people, for their clients, but this collaboration never happened before, so it's forced these newfound friendships, if you like, because as a force together they're better than what they are separate. Now, just getting back to real estate, Mark, so I had an agent reach out to me the other day, and he said, hey, one of my vendors has contacted me and said they love the way you do your social media. Look, I'm not great at it. I don't know that I'm ever going to be great at it, but I love what you do. She wants, obviously, me as her agent. Do you reckon we can do something together? And I was like, you know what? I said this to you a couple of weeks ago, Mark, this conversation. I said, I reckon there is going to be this collaboration of agents that are going to come together where, vendors get to pick and choose. Mark, I love your negotiation skills. Lisa, I love your social media skills. Would you guys
Sure.
consider working together? So
Yeah.
you know what? We know each other. Myself and this agent, we're in the same local area together. We've
Yeah.
done a couple of deals together. I flicked him a couple of buyers, and he's flicked me a couple of buyers, and it's just a lovely friendship.
Do you
And
know
I
what
said,
I
you know
just
what?
thought
I reckon
about?
this is a great idea.
You know what I just thought about, which is off the back of what you're saying. You and I were talking about how many chip packets are available, how many flavors of chips there are in a supermarket the other day, and it came down to individualization. People aren't stuck with chicken, salt, vinegar, blah blah blah, 4 flavors anymore. They've got 100 flavors to choose from. Isn't that
Yeah.
interesting what you're saying about real estate services? That people are now starting to pick different flavors of what suits them. So they're saying, hey, I like you for doing this. We've been mates for 15 years. I want you to sell my place. But I like Lisa for her social media. Now they're it's like making a half and half pizza.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. And you know what? What's wrong with that? Like,
What's wrong with it?
this agent, we are going to document this because I reckon this is the first time it's ever happened in the industry. And,
Yeah,
I don't mind a little bit of disruption for the betterment of the people. I'm all
yeah.
for that, right? But I said to him,
Hey, Admiral.
we need to document. I said to him, we need to document this because I love the fact that, like what you said, Mark, you can have your half pepperoni and half vegetarian, right? And that's
Not in real
absolutely normal
estate.
these days.
Not in
Well,
real
watch.
estate.
Just watch, because I
Maybe.
did a little piece. I did a piece on Saturday, saying, guys, mark this date in your diary because I reckon it's all about to change. I reckon you can say, I would like half Lisa and I would like half Mark, thank you, because Mark's a great negotiator. Lisa's great with her social media. Will you guys work together? Why not? Like,
Well,
we had
if
the
we're
discussion
make
and said, you know what? Well, let's work out the whole commission structure later. Let's just get this property sold for this client.
if we can make the same amount of money or more as an industry, why wouldn't you? If you can sell just as many pizzas by selling them as half and half, why wouldn't you? You're still making the, there's more work making half and half pizza than a normal pizza. You charge a touch more.
Yep.
I don't know, but that really is interesting because that collaboration between agents and between businesses, and the urbanization. I don't like the word urbanization. Call it bourbanization. Bourbanization in COVID, like, it's power to the suburbs on
Yeah.
steroids. It's power to the suburbs. And even I noticed we've got Michelle Genie online, country agent, and they're going bananas. We did a thing the other day with those guys, and it's nuts.
This, and again, we're going to start to see it more and more and more. Now, that's just the first of many in real estate, I reckon. But we are going to start to see it more and more and more. So for those of you guys that have just tuned in, we're talking about businesses working collaboratively together, harmoniously. And I had an agent tap me on the shoulder a couple of days ago and said, my vendor, I've got an exclusive agreement. My vendor said, they love your social media. Would you consider doing something with me? You do the social part, I'll run the listing. And I said, I reckon this is a great idea. We are going to document it. So watch this space. But that we're going to see more and more of that. Now, the other thing is, Mark, a lot of these stores that are not doing as well because of COVID, let's say it's a fruit shop. They go and knock on the door next door of the dry cleaner and say,
Yeah,
guys, we don't need this massive shop anymore. We're not seeing as many customers coming into the store. We're doing a lot of home delivery. Do you guys want to take half the space? And you will be half dry
collaboration.
cleaner, half fruit shop. This
Well,
collaboration.
in America, I used to laugh because we went into a pub, a dirty pub,
True.
and there was a place called Zetigler. This was in Africa, in South Africa,
Yeah.
and it was a dirty pub. The dirty pub operated at night, and then this really cool clothing brand knocked on the door of a pub and said, we want to use your pub in the mornings and during the day, just that half of the pub over there. And they went, what, over there? That doesn't even get used, that part. And they said, yeah, over there. So they collaborated and they did
Yeah.
amazing business during the day. Barbershops popping themselves into the weirdest corners of businesses. All they
Yeah.
need is one chair, and customers love it. Collaboration through COVID is going nuts, and is going to go even
Not
more
only that,
nuts.
it's more than that. It comes down to convenience, and we're massive advocates of convenience. We're a really busy family, busy life, like everyone these days. That's not going to change. It's going to get crazier and it's going to get busier, and we're going to have to start thinking outside the square a lot more. But it all comes down to convenience, doesn't it, Mark? If you can get your hair cut and you can have lunch at the same time, all in the same shop, no doubt there's massive brownie points there. But
Well, we
something
saw
else I want
another
to
one
cover.
down the road from our office, just to again reinforce that example. We had a keto cafe,
Yeah,
keto food,
yeah, keto.
go together with a hairdresser, and it was like,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, and it works. People love it. Oh,
Excuse
bless
me.
you. God, I hope you're not going to sneeze 20 times like you normally do. So the other thing is, Mark, we talked about um, this morning. We talked about, what did you call it? I loved it. We talked about the skyscraper. You called it the ground scraper.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that. This is cool. This is really cool, and
nice.
I reckon you've nailed it. People can't get into the city anymore because of COVID up into these tall, high-rise buildings because of obvious reasons. They just simply can't get people up and down in these elevators.
Well, I got a good client that manages 10,000, partner in a business, manages 10,000 staff. It's a public company, and they've got, they said, we're not even going to start looking at getting, we've got 1,000 people in there at the moment, and we're not going to start looking to get even another 1 or 2 thousand in until after December. And I was like, why is that? And she said, well, for instance, nobody can go to lunch. So to manage 1,000 people into the tower, from early morning to 9:30, 10, and to manage them out of the tower is hectic enough. Never mind to get them in and out during a lunch break. So we've just basically said to everyone, BYO your lunch to the
Yeah, yeah,
1,000
yeah,
staff that are in the building. My point
yeah.
is, it's logistically, it's all with this COVID stuff going on. What are people going to start doing?
Well, either they've been working from home, but I know what you're going to say. There's these ground scrapers that companies are now building, which instead of tall, they're wide. Um, that's what's going on. I know. I've got a client that works at Citibank, and he was saying, "Oh," I said, "Well, how do you guys work from home?" He said, "No, we're not. They've built this massive, like, factory almost out in the western suburbs somewhere. They knocked it up in no time at all. And instead of it being tall, it's just this massive, wide, sprawling office space. Everyone's spread out, and that's how it is. Um,
Urbanisation, I call it bourbonization, not urbanisation.
Urbanization. I love that.
It's bourbonization. G'day to Martin Wong. But yeah, look, at least it's interesting to wrap it up today. Our what we've discussed in real estate in our business is collaboration with people and businesses is being done like never done before. Before they were
Yeah.
competitors, and it was like, I'm not gonna talk with you. Don't need to. Happy with with
Which
everything. Now
which is
they're
nice. I
collabing.
like that. I like, I always like to have friends, not enemies. So, I think this is a great thing. I think this is a great thing.
It's a cracker. And then the second thing, bourbonization, where people are actually just going, you know what? I'm not going to subscribe to going into the CBD. It takes time. I might get sick, and I'm going to give this a go. Work's okay for them to give it a go. They're okay to give them a go. They're saving 2 hours a day from not going in and out of the city. Urbanisation is becoming bloody huge. So I think that's part of our commercial business has skyrocketed with leasing because of urbanisation. Like we've done a
I
lot of
agree.
leasing deals in the last 12 weeks. A lot of leasing deals the last 12 weeks off the back of urbanisation.
I agree, without a doubt. And look, where we get our coffee in the mornings, this great little authentic Italian coffee shop, he was saying, look, I don't want to brag, but I've been really busy because, people are home, people are sticking to the suburbs. We went into the city market a couple of weeks ago and it was really quiet in there. Yet, you stick to these suburb style shops and coffee shops and, they're pumping, a lot of them are. Certainly here in Sydney, obviously, there's other areas not so at the moment. But again, it comes down to convenience. You think
Yeah.
about going into the city and it's like a massive outing. It's like, oh, you got to think about where are we going to park, and all of a sudden the convenience factor's just simply not there.
No.
And I've been saying it. I've been saying it for months now, Mark, about the big department stores. I reckon the days are numbered there. People want to just run in and out of a clothing store as opposed to going into a massive store like David Jones or Myer, where it's like this vortex. It just comes down to that
Well,
convenience factor.
I think people may think that urbanisation, getting out of the city, decentralising, is not happening with Amazon, but Amazon's probably the master of urbanisation. They are delivering to the burbs, same day, whatever you want. So that's throwing fuel onto decentralisation and urbanisation. Even big companies like that, like you just said, Citibank is doing that. What they call it is nodes. Rather than having one big hub, they have nodes in little central business districts all around Sydney. It's changing the world. On signing off,
I love
guys, what I want everyone to think about in your business is, where is the energy flowing? That's what I want you to think about. Energy doesn't get burnt. Energy doesn't get buried. It just basically, it moves, right? So if energy has come out of your business, for instance, international travel, where is that money, or where is that energy going? Where is it going? Where has it gone? That's where we have to be in business. So the energy will not be burnt, and it will not be buried. That is for sure. Just work out, guys, where it's going. Part of what we're talking about today is it's going into the suburbs, the energy. And part of what we're talking about is that energy is people are working with each other a little bit more than they used to, collaborating. Anything else, Lise?
No, I think that's about it. But, and I always think, you and I are crazy dreamers. And I always say, if you're crazy enough to dream it, you're crazy enough to do it. If you're not a crazy dreamer, just copy the ones that are. So, if you can't think of ways that you need to now be innovating within your business, just look to your role models and see what they're doing and just copy. I'm a massive advocate of that as well. But no, I think it's exciting, really exciting times ahead. The collaboration thing's super exciting. As I said, I'm going to be collaborating with another local agent from a completely different real estate office shortly. I'm going to be doing the social media. He's going to be running the other campaign. Everyone's egos aside, which is awesome. It should always be about the client anyway. And yeah, we'll document that. That's going to be really cool. Watch this space. I think that's it.
Oh, I think so. And Ross is saying Cairns market is booming. Southerners moving to the tropics.
Yeah.
Going back to community living. I don't think it's a bad thing, guys. I don't think it's a bad thing. And Amal,
Yeah.
again, thank you for your support. She's a legend. And Martin Wong says to you, Lee, spot on. The city's a ghost town right now. Most people are staying locally and getting busy at work. It's true, guys.
Yeah.
It's true. Signing off.
Exciting. Guys, have an awesome day. See you soon. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Love you. Thanks, Lee. This
See you
is new
guys.
technology, so it's finally working a little bit today, huh?
Yeah, it's better.
StreamYard.
Much, much better. You didn't drop out.
Yeah.